10 twisted sexual acts narcissists secretly crave that you need to know about. Ever felt something just asterisk off asterisk in your relationships, especially when it comes to intimacy? If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. In today's video, we're diving into 10 disturbing sexual behaviors that are all too common with narcissists. You see, when it comes to sexuality, narcissists don't play by the usual rules. They have a completely different approach, and it's not a healthy one. Let's break down these 10 toxic habits and understand why they're so damaging, so you can protect yourself and recognize the red flags in your own relationships. Stick with me until the end. You won't want to miss these insights. Number 1. The hidden desires of narcissists. Narcissists often conceal their true interests, going to great lengths to present a facade that aligns with societal norms. While they may appear outwardly conventional, their private desires can be far from what others expect. These hidden inclinations are often much more unusual or even disturbing, and they usually remain carefully guarded. Narcissists are often adept at masking these aspects of their personality, and it's not uncommon for you to only become aware of them much later. This can range from secret sexual preferences, such as a hidden orientation or a desire for group sexual activities, to even more troubling and deviant behaviors. They might begin by presenting themselves as chaste, claiming they've been celibate for years, or discussing their supposed religious devotion as a way of reinforcing an image of purity and innocence. In truth, these claims are often mere tools to maintain a socially acceptable persona. Beneath this facade, they may be involved in activities that starkly contradict the image they project, all while carefully maintaining their public reputation as an upstanding individual. The narcissist's ability to manipulate and control their outward image while secretly engaging in behaviors that contradict this image is a key part of their strategy to retain control and power over their relationships. Number 2. The need for multiple sources of validation. One of the defining characteristics of a narcissist is their insatiable need for validation. This need goes far beyond typical compliments or praise. They crave constant attention and admiration from multiple sources to sustain their inflated sense of self-worth. Narcissists rarely rely on just one source for this validation, preferring to keep several supply sources at once. They often seek out quick, low-effort ways to fuel their need for affirmation. Whether it's engaging in casual sexual encounters, visiting places of prostitution, or indulging in other less conventional activities, they are always on the hunt for something that provides them with an instant rush of attention and admiration. Even if they present themselves as ordinary, family-oriented individuals, many narcissists are living double lives. They often engage in these secret behaviors, keeping them hidden from those closest to them, to preserve their image while satisfying their insatiable need for stimulation and affirmation. Their desire for excitement knows no bounds, and they will chase whatever gives them the quickest fix of praise, admiration, or sexual satisfaction, regardless of the moral or ethical consequences. Their need for validation is constant, and they will stop at nothing to ensure they are always at the center of attention. Number 3. A hunger for unconventional sex. For narcissists, conventional sexual intimacy is rarely enough. They are constantly seeking new and unconventional ways to satisfy their desires, driven by a need for novelty and variety. Standard forms of intimacy, even when physically satisfying, tend to bore them quickly. From engaging in BDSM to exploring extreme or taboo sexual expressions, narcissists often feel compelled to push boundaries in their sexual experiences. This hunger for novelty can extend to behaviors that are deeply disturbing and illegal, such as pedophilia, where the narcissist seeks out vulnerable individuals for their own gratification. It's crucial to understand that while not every narcissist will engage in such criminal behavior, their lack of empathy and their desire to control and dominate others can lead to harmful and exploitative actions. They often value physical appearance over emotional connection and tend to view others as objects to be used for their own pleasure. This lack of regard for boundaries or the well-being of others enables them to justify engaging in behaviors that many would consider deeply unethical or immoral. It's important to remain cautious and aware of who you allow into your life, especially in situations where you or vulnerable individuals could be at risk. Number 4. Their disdain for boredom and conventionality. Boredom is the kryptonite for narcissists. For them, the constant search for novelty is a driving force. Even if you are physically attractive, offer great intimacy, and meet many of their needs, it is only a matter of time before they lose interest. Narcissists are rarely content with what they have, always on the lookout for something new and exciting to fill the void of boredom. This insatiable craving for stimulation makes them difficult to satisfy, as they are never truly satisfied with what is in front of them. Once they tire of a relationship, a partner, or even a particular lifestyle, they will quickly move on, seeking out the next adventure or thrill. They crave the feeling of excitement and distraction, always needing something fresh to capture their attention and keep them from feeling bored. This constant dissatisfaction often leads them to shift blame onto their past partners. They may claim that their previous relationships were unexciting or that their partners were unwilling to try new things, even if this is not the case. Narcissists are quick to devalue those around them once they no longer serve the purpose of providing them with the attention or excitement they seek. Their manipulation often extends to blaming others for their dissatisfaction rather than recognizing their own inability to find contentment. Number 5. The lack of emotional intimacy in sex. Sex for narcissists is rarely about intimacy or emotional connection. For them, it is more of a tool for self-gratification than a shared experience of closeness with a partner. Once their physical needs are met, they typically show little to no interest in emotional intimacy. After sex, they may immediately withdraw, physically distancing themselves and offering no affection or comfort. They have no desire to cuddle, connect, or engage in postcoital bonding because, for them, the act is only about fulfilling their own needs, not about creating a meaningful emotional connection. This lack of interest in emotional intimacy is not just limited to physical acts. It reflects a broader pattern of emotional distancing in their relationships. Narcissists view their partners as objects to be used for their own satisfaction, rather than as equals deserving of love, care, and emotional connection. This emotional detachment extends beyond just their sexual relationships and into their overall view of others. They often struggle to form deep emotional bonds with anyone, as they prioritize their own desires and gratification above all else. Once they have achieved their goal of self-gratification, they discard their partner, often showing no interest in their feelings or emotional needs. To a narcissist, intimacy is not a shared experience, but rather a means to fulfill their own desires, with little regard for the emotional connection that should accompany it. Number 6. Narcissists and their secret obsession with pornography. One of the most hidden and often overlooked behaviors in narcissists is their secret obsession with pornography. Many narcissists develop a deep and often secretive relationship with pornography, indulging in it in ways that can be surprising and unsettling. This obsession often extends into more unusual forms of porn, types that may be considered taboo or highly unconventional, and ones you may never expect them to be interested in. Narcissists are notorious for keeping these preferences concealed, indulging in them when you're not around, such as when you're at work or busy with other activities. These hidden habits are often difficult to detect at first, but over time you may begin to notice telltale signs, especially if you come across inappropriate or questionable content on their devices or in their browsing history. For narcissists, pornography serves as an anonymous outlet for their cravings and desires, a way to fulfill their sexual needs without revealing the darker sides of their personality. They often view it as a safe escape, allowing them to satisfy their urges without anyone being the wiser about their private activities. Alongside their use of porn, narcissists may also engage in conversations on adult websites or forums, further hiding their activities beneath the surface of their seemingly normal public lives. These secretive behaviors are a reflection of their need to maintain a carefully curated image in public, all while indulging in behaviors that are far from what they present to the world. The level of secrecy they maintain around these activities speaks volumes about their need for control and their fear of anyone discovering the parts of themselves they'd rather keep hidden. Number 7. Narcissists' obsession with cleanliness. Another peculiar trait of narcissists that often goes unnoticed is their obsessive focus on cleanliness and personal hygiene. While this may appear to be a simple case of self-care, it's actually a deeper reflection of their internal struggles. Narcissists often go to great lengths to ensure they are always clean and immaculate, sometimes washing up multiple times a day in a ritualistic manner. This behavior often stems from a need to cleanse themselves, especially when they have engaged in activities that they feel are morally or ethically wrong. The more they indulge in secretive or illicit behaviors, whether it's related to pornography, manipulation, or infidelity, the more they feel compelled to wash themselves repeatedly, as if they are trying to scrub away the shame or guilt associated with those actions. It's as though they believe that by physically cleansing themselves, they can rid themselves of the emotional or psychological dirt they feel from their hidden activities. Interestingly, this obsession with cleanliness is often coupled with a tendency to criticize their partner's hygiene, no matter how clean they actually are. Narcissists may project their own feelings of uncleanliness or guilt onto others, accusing their partner of being dirty or careless about their hygiene, even when this isn't the case. This behavior is a reflection of their inner turmoil, as they struggle to reconcile their public persona with the darker, more hidden parts of their personality. It's also a way for them to deflect attention away from their own imperfections, focusing instead on the faults they perceive in others. Number 8. Oral sex and narcissists' desire for praise. When it comes to sexual preferences, narcissists have very specific desires that are often linked to their need for validation and praise. One of the more common sexual preferences among narcissists is the desire to receive oral sex. However, when they do perform this act themselves, it is rarely out of a genuine desire to please their partner. Instead, they typically view it as a means to receive praise and admiration, feeding their ever-hungry ego. For narcissists, the act of giving oral sex is more about getting validation than about any mutual sexual pleasure. They crave the affirmation that comes from being told they are the best lover you've ever had, or that their performance is beyond compare. It's not about intimacy or connection for them. It's about reinforcing their sense of superiority and ensuring their ego is constantly being stroked. This need for constant praise often means that narcissists are less willing to give oral sex themselves, especially if they have multiple partners. They view the act as something that requires a level of closeness they are unwilling to offer, as it could potentially damage the carefully constructed self-image they work so hard to maintain. By keeping sexual acts like this at a distance, they are able to control the level of intimacy and ensure that they remain in a position of power where they are the focus of attention and admiration. Number 9. Narcissists and their lack of boundaries. Narcissists often have an alarming disregard for personal boundaries, particularly when it comes to sexual behavior. Their sense of right and wrong is often distorted, and they have a deep-seated belief that their desires should always take precedence over any rules or social norms. Many narcissists feel no shame or hesitation when it comes to crossing lines that would be considered unacceptable by most people, including incestuous relationships or engaging in inappropriate behavior with family members or step relations. To them, the pursuit of pleasure, regardless of the consequences, is the ultimate goal. Their lack of a moral compass allows them to act impulsively, driven solely by their own desires and impulses. Whether it's sleeping with a cousin, sibling, or step-parent, the concept of ethical behavior is meaningless to them. Narcissists are willing to disregard the emotional and psychological damage their actions may cause to others, viewing people as mere objects to satisfy their own needs. This willingness to cross boundaries, even those that would be considered taboo or illegal, is a clear reflection of their selfishness and their inability to consider the impact of their actions on others. For narcissists, the only thing that matters is their immediate gratification, and they will stop at nothing to pursue whatever they want, without regard for the harm they may cause. Number 10. The loneliness of being with a narcissist. One of the most heart-wrenching and painful aspects of being involved with a narcissist is the profound loneliness that inevitably creeps into the relationship over time. At the beginning, a narcissist may shower you with attention, affection, and sexual interest, leading you to believe that you have found someone who truly cares about you. However, this attention is often short-lived, as the narcissist's lust is fleeting and their desire for you diminishes once they have satisfied their cravings. What follows is a gradual withdrawal of intimacy and emotional connection, leaving you feeling isolated and disconnected. The relationship may begin to feel more like a roommate situation, where the closeness and affection you once shared are replaced by a cold, transactional partnership. The narcissist may not necessarily end the relationship outright, but they will stop offering you the emotional and physical closeness that initially drew you to them. This can be especially painful because, despite being physically present, the narcissist's lack of emotional engagement creates a deep sense of loneliness. This feeling of isolation becomes more pronounced when you realize that the narcissist is likely seeking attention and validation elsewhere, often leading secret lives and pursuing new sources of admiration or affection. Whether it's through infidelity, online relationships, or even emotional affairs, the narcissist's need for constant validation often drives them to seek out attention from others, leaving you to feel emotionally abandoned. This kind of loneliness is one of the most difficult aspects of being in a relationship with a narcissist, as you are left yearning for a connection that the narcissist is incapable of providing. As we've explored, narcissists often lead double lives, carefully concealing their true desires and motivations to maintain control and power over their relationships. From hidden sexual preferences to an insatiable need for validation, their behaviors reflect a deep-seated insecurity and an intense desire for admiration. While they may seem outwardly conventional, their secretive actions often contradict the image they project. The emotional distance and lack of empathy that define their relationships can lead to profound loneliness for those involved with them. Understanding these hidden aspects of a narcissist's personality is crucial in navigating these toxic dynamics. If you found this video insightful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share with others who might benefit from this knowledge. Your support helps us continue to bring valuable content to the community. And don't forget to comment below, Share your experiences or thoughts about narcissistic behavior, and let's keep the conversation going. Together, we can build a stronger, more aware community. See you in the next video. When you do this shift, the narcissist will come running. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, trying to understand their behavior, and wondering what exactly triggers them to come running back? You may have noticed that they seem to only return when certain conditions align, or perhaps you've been curious about the mysterious dynamics of narcissistic relationships. In this video, we're going to explore one powerful shift you can make that will inevitably get the narcissist to come running. It might sound counterintuitive, and it's certainly not a quick fix, but when you understand this key concept, you will be empowered to take back control of the situation, regardless of how manipulative or elusive the narcissist may seem. Stick with me as we break down this fascinating concept and how it can impact your relationship with a narcissist. Before we dive into this powerful shift, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who might be struggling with narcissistic relationships. This is the place where we explore real solutions, psychological insights, and strategies for reclaiming your power. Let's get into the shift that will make the narcissist come running. The shift I'm referring to isn't about trying to change the narcissist in any way. It's not about attempting to win them over, fix them, or make them see the error of their ways. It's about transforming your own mindset, altering your approach to the relationship, and re-establishing your boundaries in such a way that disrupts the power dynamic between you and the narcissist. Narcissists thrive on control and need a constant stream of validation, admiration, and attention in order to feel secure in their grandiose self-image. Their entire existence is centered around this need for external affirmation. But the moment you stop giving them the control they so desperately crave, everything starts to change. They may not show it outwardly, but the narcissist will feel a shift, and that is when they will begin to take notice. Once their constant source of validation is no longer available to them, they will feel the loss of power, and that's when they'll come running back. It's not about them suddenly realizing their feelings for you, but rather them seeking to reclaim the control they once had. The first thing you must understand is that narcissists are driven entirely by their ego. This is the foundation of their personality. Every part of their identity is constructed around the need to feel superior, to feel that they are better than others, and that they are deserving of admiration and praise. Their ego is their lifeblood, and maintaining this grandiose self-image is their number one priority. They cannot function properly unless they are seen as exceptional in some way, and they require a constant stream of external validation to maintain this inflated sense of self-worth. This is why they are so dangerous to be around. When you stop feeding into their ego, when you stop giving them the attention, admiration, and validation they require to feel important, you begin to shake their sense of self. They may not immediately react to this shift, but deep down, their whole world is starting to crumble. They might try to mask it or pretend that they are unaffected, but internally they feel threatened, insecure, and uncertain. This feeling of vulnerability is foreign to them and unsettling, which is why it sets them into action. At this point, the narcissist will start to run after you, but not because they suddenly care about your feelings or well-being. They aren't running after you because they've had an epiphany about how important you are to them. They are running after you because you've become a challenge. They have lost their source of validation, and this loss of control over the dynamic creates a deep sense of discomfort for them. They are no longer in the driver's seat, and that's something they cannot tolerate. Their